I ran away from home and almost disappeared forever. The old man in the pickup truck looked exactly like my dead grandfather, which was why I got in, even though something felt wrong about how eager he was to give me a ride. My car had broken down on this empty stretch of highway somewhere between nowhere and nothing. The engine had simply died, coughing out its last breath as steam rose from under the hood like a final surrender. My phone was dead too, the battery drained after hours of angry texts with my mother that I'd ignored until the screen went black. I've been standing there for nearly an hour, watching the sun sink lower, painting the sky in shades of orange and red that should have been beautiful, but only made me feel more alone. When his truck appeared on the horizon, I actually felt relief. He had kind eyes, wrinkled at the corners, and that same gentle smile my grandfather used to have when he'd pick me up from school. His hair was white and thin, combed neatly to one side. He even wore a flannel shirt like Grandpa used to wear. But now that I was sitting in this truck that smelled like stale cigarettes and something else I couldn't quite identify, something metallic and wrong, I was wondering if walking would have been a better choice. The seat beneath me had a strange stain I tried not to look at. There were scratches on the passenger door handle, deep ones like someone had clawed at it desperately. "What's your name, honey?" he asked, his voice still warm and grandfatherly. I gave him a fake name, Sarah Mitchell, the first thing that came to mind. The radio played old country music, Patsy Cline singing about falling to pieces, and he hummed along for about 20 minutes before I noticed we were heading west into empty farmland instead of north toward the city lights I'd been watching for. His eyes kept finding me in the rearview mirror, and they didn't look kind anymore. They looked hungry, predatory, like a wolf that had been pretending to be a dog. The wrinkles around them seemed deeper now, carved by something darker than age. "Hey, I think we're going the wrong way," I said, trying to sound confused instead of terrified. My hand was shaking in my lap. "Smart girl," he said, and his voice had changed completely, dropping the gentle grandfather tone. "But not smart enough to stay home where you belong. Not smart enough to know better than to get in a stranger's truck. I need to stop at the next gas station," I said, my voice cracking. "I'm feeling really sick." He laughed, a sound like gravel scraping against metal. "About a much better place for us to go, sweetheart. Nice and private. Nobody around for miles." The word sweetheart made a rise in my throat, because now I knew exactly what kind of man this was. I'd heard the stories, seen the news reports, but never thought it would happen to me. That's what everyone thinks, isn't it? Until it does. I reached for the door handle, but before I could pull it, something hard smashed into the back of my skull. White light exploded behind my eyes, then everything went black. When I came to, there was rope around my wrists, rough and tight, already cutting into my skin. My ankles were tied too, bound together, so I couldn't run. We were parked behind an abandoned building, its windows broken and dark like empty eye sockets. The sun had set completely now, and darkness pressed in from all sides. He was humming that same song, standing outside the truck, preparing something I couldn't see. My head throbbed where he'd hit me, and I could feel blood matting my hair. "You picked the wrong truck to get into," he said without turning around, still humming between words. "But don't worry, sweetheart. I'll take real good care of you." He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was almost tender, which somehow made it worse. "Just like I took care of all the others."